Hello, everybody. It's so good to have your audience. So good to see you. Yes, it's just marvelous. I had to clear my throat there, but I am Jason Cutrone. So happy to be DMing for the Nerdsmith sub drive as we progress to our seventh, our eighth day. Just a marvelous opportunity to sit down with some wonderful players from even outside the network to bring some more lovely D&D content to your screens, to your eyeballs. But before I go on about the lovely opportunity that you have to support the network, I suppose it would be prudent to introduce our lovely cast. Just tell us who exactly you are and just a little brief description, maybe just even the name of the character that you'll be playing today as we traipse across the interesting world inhabited by Fortuna. We'll begin with a actually new player that I've never played with before. So, Jay, since you're the one that I first see, go on ahead, introduce yourself, and proliferate your creative endeavors.
I'm Jay. I am on Countless Heroes. I'm just on Twitch later than this normally, but in the time slots that this one shots have been in. I am playing a tiefling named Fortune, whose name I picked before I knew the name of the ship. I'm going to point that out.
Don't worry. We'll get to the name.
I think that means you legally own the ship now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So weird.
We have my ship now.
Yes. Look at you. You are the captain now. All right. So from Jay, since you've already piped up heavenly, why don't you go ahead and tell the lovely folks who exactly you are and lovely little descriptor of who you'll be playing today.
Hi, everyone. My name's Heavenly, or Tiz_aliens on Twitter. I will be playing Rill today, who, when you meet them, appears to be a human, so don't worry about it.
That you clarify that.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just don't worry about it.
Just don't worry about it. Yeah, they have 6 fingers on one hand, but just don't worry.
It's all good.
Nothing more?
Nothing more.
I'm sure. Well, continuing on in the same order as I see you, we have our most wonderful guest, making sure that I'm pronouncing this correctly, Rebecca?
That would be correct, yes.
Just in case, But lovely guest to the Nerdsmith Network today. So go ahead, introduce yourself. Just tell us what's good and also who you'll be playing today.
Alrighty, so I am Rebecca Cranen. I'm at Weirder by the Day on Twitter. It's down below me somewhere. And I'll be playing Calico Jane, a cleric, but a blood cleric from the Taldore campaign guide from the folks over at Critical Role. So I'm excited.
Fantastic. From the world of Exandria, Calico Jane has joined us. Pardon. Apart from Rebecca, we have 2 other familiar faces from the Nerdsmith Network joining us today. Angela, go ahead and give us the
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm on a bunch of Nerdsmith stuff. You can find me at darling_gypsum, and I will be playing Esme, who is a high elf. She's an antiquities dealer and is very attached to the magical artifacts that she has decided to keep on her person rather than sell. And we will elaborate more later.
Absolutely. And so we come to our final player, Andy.
Hello.
Good to see you. Go ahead and give us the spiel. Give us who you are, what you're playing, and how you doing.
I'm Andy. I play GB on Countless Heroes, and today I have the pleasure of playing Fallen Stellar, a human sailor who has had a hard life.
That's a very apt description. I commend you for it. Much appreciated. Well, as I said at the top, my name is Jason Cutrone. Around all of our names, you should be able to find our Twitter pages, and you should also be pardon. You should also be able to follow us more generally and follow our endeavors at the We Are Nerdsmith Twitter page, the official Twitter for all things Nerdsmith. And keep up with us on our own things, such as Countless Heroes, be it Final Rights, be it our own personal creative endeavors. But we are here today in order to actually hop into the subdrive of Nerdsmith. Yes, contribute content to this lovely little drive that we do annually. Angela, I believe you have the most information on that. So if you would please expound the virtues of this lovely little subdrive that we've got going on.
Sure thing. All year round, you can support the network and the creators by subscribing to the show and becoming a supporter. But specifically from now, we started on the 16th, but from now till April 30th, you can participate in our subdrive, in which we have created some really special bonus content and some really fun little bonuses and perks for people who subscribe during these 2 weeks. So it is the 27th right now. You have 3 more days to take advantage of the subscriber perks that we have available to people, depending on the levels that you decide or choose to subscribe to. Everybody, no matter what level you decide to subscribe to, if you'd like to support us, directly helps our creators make a reliable income from the shows. It helps us do what we love to do, and as with everything, money helps you do the things you want to do. So any subscriber at any level will get access to exclusive bonus content, which is all of these special episodes and one-shots, and we have downloadable high-res wallpapers for different shows if you want to have those. All sorts of cool media that you can get exclusively only to subscribers.
A cookbook.
Well, yeah, I'm getting there. I have the list of stuff. So yeah, lots of extra features from all of your favorite shows here on the network. You also get access to special Discord channels for your level of subscriber, so you can hang out with all the sidekicks or all the champions or all the superstars and all hang out, and we'll have the creators are on the server all the time. We'll hopefully be running some special one-on-ones or like interviews and things with creators exclusively for our subscribers. So there will be lots of neat perks coming down the road for joining our community in that way. We also, so our most common level is a sidekick. So at $10 a month, you get all of those things, the bonus content and the Discord access. You also get 50% off nerd alerts, which are our little messages that you can purchase to have said on the air by your favorite creators or characters. Birthday wishes, graduation, nemesis you want to challenge to a duel. You can use it for all sorts of messages that you might want to put out there. You'll get 50% off any of the ones that you purchase. Then we also have a 2019 subscriber enamel pin that Logan and I are designing, and we will put that out as soon as we can once we have the design finalized. And so you'll get one of those as well at a sidekick level. The next level up is our champions who support us with $20 a month. And champions get all the things I just described, plus one free nerd alert, so you just automatically can ask a show to broadcast a message out to a loved one or a friend. You also get a metal D20 from Die Hard Dice. I'm not 100% sure whether or not we have control over the color of that thing. I heard a little birdie told me we might have a color specific for that. And you get a PDF copy of the Nerdsmith cookbook, as Andy so excitedly shared because he was involved in helping us put that together. We have a bunch of recipes from our shows and creators, lots of fun dishes and drinks, and there's a shocking amount of bread in the cookbook from what I would have expected. So you get a digital copy of that. Our superstars, if you're feeling super generous and you really want to support our creators, $35 a month is our highest so far. Fingers crossed. You get all the things that I just said, plus a printed copy of the Nerdsmith cookbook. So you get a nice paper copy. We're designing it to sort of look like an old-timey D&D rulebook. So it's going to have that kind of vibe with lots of illustrations and stuff inside. And you get a custom Nerdsmith mug that's going to be branded for the network. And from the samples that we're looking at, it's going to be super snazzy. I'm very excited about it. If any of those are way out of your range and you don't really have the money to donate that much right now, we do have a $5 a month level that gives you the chance to directly support one show of your choice. You get the bonus content access, and you get the special Discord channel. So you still get to be a part of the community, you still get the cool extra show stuff that we put out, and you get our eternal gratitude for every dollar counts and means a lot to every creator on the network. So, and at minimum, tell people you like the network or like the show, share us on social media. Word of mouth is so powerful for small creators like us, and a little bit of a testimonial from somebody about why they're really passionate about a show can really mean the world to us and really convince somebody to give us a listen or a watch. So that's, of course, tremendously appreciated. If you go to nerdsmith.org/subdrive, we'll put that in the chat. You can get all this information there if you need a refresher, and you can subscribe on that page. And so you can find out more about what you can do to help support the shows. And again, there's a timer on here. It says there's 3 days and 6 hours to get all of these subdrive perks. You can still subscribe and support any time of the year, but you want to get the cool swag? Do it before the 30th.
Exactly. April 30th is the cutoff date for our Subdrive 2019. Again, nerdsmith.org/subdrive for all the lovely information and all the testimonials and whatnot that you could ever want. And yeah, in addition,
you can always subscribe after that, but you don't get some of those lovely perks.
Yes, exactly. If you want that cookbook, if you want the lovely pin or the metal dice, all of that is available only during the April Subdrive, the Nerdsmith Subdrive 2019, which ends, as was said, April 30th. Mark your calendars.
Which is Tuesday.
Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, before we get too further far afield, we do have one final announcement. I believe that there is a bit of, a little bit of a giveaway going on, as I understand it. Indeed, there is.
Our amazing sponsors, World Anvil, they are giving away, or they've gifted us some gifts for our viewers, and we will be doing a giveaway of a World Anvil Guild membership. The length of that membership and the tier of that membership will improve as the show goes on. The more people that come watch the show, the better the giveaway is going to be at the end of the show. So please feel free to share. I'll put our announcement that we're live on the chat. And if you share it, get more people to show up, and your chances of getting a really, really cool guild membership from World Anvil will increase with every person. Well, the prize will increase with every person that joins the giveaway.
Very good clarification there.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Math.
Yeah, if you want to join the giveaway, if you want to be entered for the giveaway, and you are not a Nerdsmith creator, you are eligible if you type into the chat !booty again. Since this is our second pirate game in a row, we will so put booty again into the chat with an exclamation point at the front, and you will be entered in for the giveaway, and we'll reach out to you and let you know how to get a cool World Anvil Guild membership.
It sounds like the
awesome.
sequel to a really bad movie.
It probably will be a sequel to a very bad movie. I don't doubt the universe being that cruel to us. Alrighty. So, again, a little bit of a giveaway through World Anvil Guild membership that improves with viewership. So, go ahead, spread the word. Go to our Twitters, tweet at us, and just be sure to keep circulating the tapes. All right.
just in case anybody's curiosity was really piqued, don't Google it. You're not going to get anything interesting, and everything that ends up when you Google booty again is it's what you'd expect. It's not
it's
worth it.
It's not that surprising, but
I was
some
hoping.
people.
Maybe it would have been a pleasant surprise.
All right. We've had our fun. Time to hop in. Across the waves of the roiling sea blows a stiff breeze. With it carries the stinging of the salt and the heat of summer. Given its name, of course, the roiling sea offers very little reprieve. It swells and bellows as great plumes of steam burst out at random intervals. To hazard such waters is treacherous, if one was alone. How fortunate, then, that your ship, whose name will now be decided, at the top, Jay, could you share with me your favorite letter?
I forgot what I picked.
It doesn't matter, really. Just any letter,
Many of them.
like your letter that you like really speaks to you in this moment.
I feel like I have to say J, though.
You don't have to, but I mean, if you want to,
That's what I'm gonna
you're gonna go with J. All right. Keeping that brand. Alrighty, so that's okay. Heavenly, same question. Your favorite letter?
I know my favorite number, and so this is really difficult. I guess my favorite letter is P.
P. Okay. Unpronounceable right off the bat. All right.
God. Someone pick a battle
Rebecca?
quick.
Oh, we're supposed to be team spelling?
What? No, I didn't get that. Anyway, Rebecca, what's the letter that is your
E.
E? All right. And
Well, I'm a type A, and being high on the alphabetical list has served me well my entire life. I will go with an A.
and
Can we duplicate letters?
yes, absolutely. If it's your favorite.
I have always been partial to the A.
Ah, I see. Of course, your mighty vessel, the Japia, or the Japia. It's the pronunciation gets lost. It was derived from like a primordial word that one of you stumbled upon at some point throughout your adventure. It's been lost.
It means destiny. Just let
It's something like that. It's a rough
Might
translation.
be something similar, actually.
I mean, we could also go with a jape, which would be a fun little dance to.
that's good. I like that.
That could be one thing.
P is great.
Yeah, perhaps that is the primordial translation of a jape, Japie. How fortunate then that your vessel, the Japie, is not sailing alone. For bound by leather, by rope, by metal construct, you are tethered to the flotilla of Fortuna. Yes, that great and terrible amalgamation of interplanar ships which traipses across the brilliant seas of this world. the name of which hardly matters. At least not to those aboard this mammoth construct. As we see the Japia crest into view, dragged along by two substantively larger vessels, the camera, quote-unquote, goes aboard the deck, drags across a few of the faces of the crew, as varied and as brilliantly roguish as those gathered here. Jay, sorry to pick on you, but as the camera pans, and as the afternoon sun crests high in the sky, high above the crow's nest, who do we see?
You see a yellow tiefling with horns from his hairline that go straight up, that fade up into red. He has this bright red hair that's braided over his shoulder, and wearing fairly simple clothes, the really large, opened, all the way open shirt and really tight pants and boots. And he's got scruff everywhere, and his eyes are solid black.
Solid black, no pupils, no distinction.
It's
just
just solid black.
All right, these sort of marbles. And the name of this tiefling, this dashing, scruff-riddled rogue aboard the Japia?
His name is Fortune.
Fortune. Yes, marvelous, marvelous. Even from the gold-tinged skin of Fortune, you see that his confidence exudes as the morning sun crests again once more into the afternoon. Keeping order consistent. Heavenly. Apart from Fortune, there stands another. A definitely humanoid figure. Totally human figure with no sort of irregularity around them. Minus 6 fingers, I think that was mentioned.
I think you would see this human, and there are some, if you were to look closely, they're maybe a little shorter than humans are traditionally.
Oh, really?
They're wearing like an opened, like one of those like romantic like peasant coat shirts that's like open.
Yeah, one of those.
And you can see some like strange discoloration on their collarbone and neck, a little purple, some blue spots that kind of fade into their skin. Their eyes are maybe just a little too far apart, but they're totally human.
Totally human. And again,
totally human.
And again, this is the character of Rill, as I understand it, yes?
This is Rill, yes. They are a pirate ranger.
Ooh, an interesting combination. And I'm sure that Rill will demonstrate their more interesting nature, perhaps, herein. We shall see. But now we must come to another of the crew. A lovely, lovely, and striking figure. Rebecca, go ahead and describe to us this Calico Jane.
Standing at 6'4", Calico Jane is a very, very tall tiefling, or not tiefling, tabaxi, other T. Tabaxi in red leather armor with a Valknut symbol on her belt. She has a staff attached to her back that has a like glowing orb at the end. There is a horn from some kind of very large creature hanging from her neck.
Very nice. Do you have a descriptor of the horn itself, or is it just sort of, it's from a mammoth beast, whatever it be?
Whatever it is, it was big. It looks like ivory with like a black tip.
Ooh, interesting. In keeping with the sort of different horn coloration inherent in Fortune's character. Like the parallels, like the interest. But yes, Calico Jane stands amidst the crew, exuding, of course, the sort of swaggering confidence that all of you have gained throughout your interplanar travels. Next, Angela, we come to your character. Please describe away.
Esme is a she doesn't 100% look like any sort of like swashbuckler. She's got a very professional, almost academic look to her. She has this fiery red hair that is pulled back, kind of librarian-esque, and she's always seemingly lost in thought. She has a couple of very specific, I'd call them artifacts that she wears. She's known around the group as being an antiquities expert and very fond of magic items and selling, identifying, and keeping magic items that she thinks are particularly useful. She has a hand mirror on her waist, like attached to her belt, and she also has a very old sword that looks almost worn, but very expensive and unique. It has a bit of a curve to it, but it's clearly a long sword. And she's just very put together, and with the exception of a very rough, almost like barnacle-y, rusted-looking, very thick bronze ring that she wears on her ring finger, and that ring, anybody who's seen her sort of almost as she's lost in thought all the time, she's always sort of handling her sword. And there is an identical ring of bronze around the pommel of the longsword.
Aha! Maybe we shall see the significance of this throughout the game. Who knows?
Right.
Maybe, probably. Who knows?
Maybe.
You can never predict these things. And finally, Andy, aboard Shapia, there stands one more. Who do we see?
Fallen Stellar is a bit short for an average human male. Perhaps he's been a little bit bent by age. He has sun-leathered skin. His face wrinkles have wrinkles. He's got unkempt hair and a beard that's a bit more salt than pepper. His clothes are well made, but have been sun-bleached. And he has a small piece of driftwood that hangs from a leather sheath on his belt. It looks like a slightly bent witch's finger or something like that, but it's made of driftwood.
Ooh. All right. Interesting. Anything else notable about the character of Fallen Stellar?
Yeah, the crew would have seen him cast the occasional Eldritch Blast.
Oh, just the occasional.
Just the occasional. Yeah, he probably...
Just once upon a whim.
They've probably also seen him breathe water and swim kind of faster than you'd expect for an old man.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's just those things. Yeah, it's just those things.
You might not have noticed it.
And indeed. And indeed, perhaps some have noticed, but they do not speak of it. And so the crew continues on with the rigging of the tethers and making sure that everything's where it needs to be. The five of you have passed the morning affairs very quickly onward. Your captain, so strangely named similarly to your ship, has given you no indication of any further activities that would require your specific attention aboard. However, I need you all to roll a perception, be it in Roll20 or in physical dice.
$26 with a nat 20.
I got a 9.
A 9, okay.
24. Rolled a 16.
24, all right.
I swear
Good.
I'm not lying. I also rolled a natural 20. Yeah, I only pout
Okay.
when I think people think I'm cheating.
Burn the good rolls while you can. That's okay. And Heavenly, how did real...
It's in roll 20. I got a 12.
A 12. Okay. Unfortunately, Fortune and Rill, your attentions have sort of been called elsewhere as you hear the crack of a few, thunderclaps in the distance. It disturbs your attention enough to be distracted. The rest of you quite easily see that there is a new face aboard this vessel. His skin is sort of a fleshy mixture of like pinkish gray with lips that are sort of darkened purple and small sort of tusks that jut out the front of his mouth. They're resting upon this half-orc's face. You see a pair of thick spectacles that are buried within a ledger, a book. It's impossible to tell. Well, except for the two who are rolling natural 20s. It's a guest list. And from the various robes and accoutrements of this individual, you note that this is a messenger of some description. You don't know of what faction. The captains all have messengers all their own, and though Fortuna is a conglomerate of vessels with, shall we say, special capabilities, the independence of each is fiercely protected, so much so that some of the crew actually seem a little perturbed by this new presence. But undisturbed by this, the half-orc looks around, peering through these spectacles, to the point where his very golden eyes are almost magnified and enlarged. His eyes settle upon you, Esme, and I need you to roll a history check.
17.
Ah! It took you a while. The spectacles that he once wore have now grown a little bit thicker. But Valentino Tusktoff, an unmistakable figure, especially with, as you see him clasp the book shut, especially with that scar running down from around the middle of his middle and forefinger down to the length of his elbow. A little bit of an accident that had occurred in service to his employer, a man by the name of... You pause for a moment. You work with so many of your disposition, antiquities dealers and the like. Callum? The name Callum comes to mind, but the rest is lost. A soft chuckle kind of escapes from a source that you are intimately familiar with.
So Valentino is coming near? He just made eye contact, or?
He made eye contact and is actually actively making his way aboard.
She'll step to meet him. Be cordial. It's lovely to see you again, Valentino. How are you?
I was quite worried that you might have forgotten me.
Never, dear.
He slings the book in sort of a handbag that he has and opens his arms to embrace you.
Oh, come here. And she'll...
like, though his form is slightly diminutive, in comparable sort of size to Falenstar, as these like thick tree trunks of arms wrap around you, you really get that that half-orc sensibility of camaraderie and strength. Just really quick, just for fun, Constitution saving throw.
Beautiful. Whoa, 18.
18. Oh, Valentino was known for his bear hugs for a reason. But luckily, you've been able to sort of expel what breath there was there and not resist the sort of squeezing influence. He lets you go and sort of smiles, looking to some of the other amidst your crew.
Valentina would also feel that despite her normal appearance, as he hugged her, there did appear to be the ridges and hardness of some sort of leather armor actually on her, but it doesn't look like she's wearing any.
He would make note of that, but he just sort of shares a knowing glance with you.
Well, welcome aboard.
A pleasure to be aboard, and an even further pleasure to, hopefully, employ you and a few notable persons aboard this very vessel, whose name escapes me. You see him actually look up and blink a couple of times, trying to remember the name.
That's all right. We're all friends here. Come on. Fellows, I believe we have a job.
Fortune, Fallen Star, Rill, Calico Jane, you all see that this half-orc gentleman looks around at each of you. Before turning back to Esme, there are perhaps specific comrades that we will be calling upon. He smiles, quickly reads from his ledger, and then... let's see, we're looking for yourself, of course, given your expertise in matters of acquisition. There's another that was listed here, Fallen Stellar, Calico Jane, Fortune, and... Blast. Rill, I believe. The pronunciation could, of course, be a little bit off. My tongue is not suited for such fineries.
Your intuition is quite astute, dear.
He chuckles at his own joke and sort of looks around, awaiting each of you to arrive in turn.
Fallen Stellar will make his way over slowly.
Oh, fine specimen you are.
How are you?
Amiable, I suppose. Happy to have you in service to Cal.
I was eavesdropping. What are we getting?
That is for Callum to render unto you. I'm merely
How inefficient.
He is nothing if not idiosyncratic. Who is the next to...
Rill will kind of scatter. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wait, I think, Rebecca, you were...
Sorry, I meant to say, Jane is leaping down from her place in the crow's nest.
Oh! As you leap on board the deck, I'd like you to make an acrobatics. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that
It was
is that a one, you say? Boy.
that.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Make a dex saving throw, just real quick. That's not a good reaction. That's really not.
One.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Oh no.
This is so good. This is so good.
Oh my god.
How high's the crow's nest?
Oh man.
Not.
Oh no.
To be merciful, I'll say
Cats
you
always
shimmy
land on their
down.
feet.
No, I. Okay. Cats always land on their feet. Tabaxi, in this case, maybe not so much. You're about halfway down the mast where you have this brilliant idea that you'll do it like a 3-point landing. As soon as your body departs from the mast, you feel just the sudden whoosh of the air, and it throws off your trajectory ridiculously to the point where landing with a hard thud on your right shoulder first, and like semi-rolling, but not really, you slam against the deck with a solid thud, taking 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yes, all around the crew you see.
Swearing in primordial.
Okay, anybody within the vicinity that understands Primordial hears a litany of curses. You do note that around the crew there are actually a few people who are exchanging coins. It seems there was a bit of a betting going on in the time between her descent and her subsequent landing. Valentino rushes over and like offers his hand to help.
I stand up without taking it.
You're quite all right, madam.
I'm fine, thank you.
Are you sure? I as one who is ever familiar with nasty falls myself, I can certainly see if we can assist, or otherwise. He stops mid-sentence as you sort of deadpan, just stare. The next to approach, I assume, will be Rill?
Yeah, Rill will walk over, like with this kind of strange bow-legged swagger, and we'll pull up next to Esme and like put their hand on their sword and be like, "Hello."
This and this very strange reaction of confusion and then sort of acceptance washes across Valentino's face, and he blinks a couple of times before nodding. Hello. I don't presume to know who you are. Rill, I suppose?
Yes, I suppose that will do.
That was the name, of course, that Callum gave me. So.
Shh. Do you hear that? I love the ocean! What are we doing? Yes, fighting?
This sudden burst of energy...
Adventure?
This sudden burst of energy just throws off his composure completely. He almost jumps back and, like, blinks. For Callum will tell, of course. Ocean? He seems hopelessly confused as Fortune you approach. It's hard.
Fortune was sort of perched up on the higher up bar and was just really casually, kind of slowly finishing tying off the ropes that he was tying off. And he watches what Calico Jane did and kind of follows the example, but uses the rope and kind of slides down the pole. It's like with his feet against it, like, and lands. Nothing
too fancy, nothing too acrobatic, just a straight descent.
Yeah, because he knows how to fall very well, apparently. So he uses that, and he just lands, and he walks by. He pats Calico Jane on the back. So, well, there's no more practice, and you can get down without losing one. You're on, what, 8, 7 now?
You know...
Not 9, not after that. What are we doing?
Following me to Callum, my employer. I hope you don't mind. And for, of course, certain person's sake, and he sort of looks to Calico and bows his head. We'll be avoiding any further strenuous activity in the transit from this place to his residence.
For just a bit of flavor, I'm going to like some of the blood from like that fall. I'm just going to have it like swirling in between my fingers while I'm just staring at him.
He attempts to speak more, but as he notices that, he suddenly stops and like, clears his throat and like, tries desperately to just shake off this whole experience. Esme, currently, that familiar chuckle has grown into a bit of a guffaw after this whole display.
Esme just smirks to herself and wraps her fingertips on the hilt of the sword at her hip.
The guffawing sort of stops, and you hear within your head, and of course no one else's, stop. You know that hurts.
She doesn't say anything, but she'll stop tapping.
Ass. You sort of hear whispered. Valentino looks to all of you. Right. Without further ado, I suppose He blinks and just breathes a sigh before heading back the way that he came.
To the
Real is going to try and keep pace with him as he walks.
This slightly perturbs him for a moment, but he simply accepts that Rill has a great enthusiasm for the endeavor that is about to be pronounced or announced, either or.
And as he's walking, Rill's going to be like looking to see what he's doing and kind of swinging their arms to match and like trying to pick up his swagger and essentially just like very obviously mimicking him, but not in a mocking way, like not like he's making fun of him, but he's like trying to kind of pick up the mannerisms of something that maybe they haven't seen before.
Okay, I would like you to roll an insight check, just so we can see how well this tribute to Valentino's gait.
13.
It's serviceable. I mean, the Rill has been exposed to half-orc culture and physiology and whatnot. The specifics, just due to the difference in stature, kind of elude them, but they are able to give a slight approximation of Valentino's walking cycle.
Is Valentino green?
No, sort of a pinkish, grayish kind of skin tone.
Rill's going to like hold their hand out, and the colors on their hand will change from kind of a peachy human color to match Valentino's for a second. And they're going to like waggle their eyebrows and then put it back to peach color and put it back to swinging at their side.
Valentino, Valentino looks, blinks, and like where you are smiling and Rill is sort of reveling in this opportunity to learn more and be more human and
human.
or well, actually, after being so human, of course, because Rill is obviously just a normal human, learning to be a little bit more half-orc. Valentino doesn't seem to share that enthusiasm and is instead mildly upset and otherwise worried. It's very hard to read half-orc faces. It's very hard.
I don't think Rill would be able to read their face regardless.
Oh, regardless.
They have no people skills whatsoever.
Yeah, it's yeah. But the rest of you, yeah, go ahead.
Valentino hears in his head, "Calm down, it's fine."
Helplessly, Valentino just accepts the message and continues forward.
We're great, y'all.
Yeah, you're just great people. Great people.
We're the good news bears, you guys.
Good. All right. As you traipse along ships of various make, model, size, and there comes a time where hanging from in between the masts seems to be a litany of silks that lead to one particular boat, which is situated far lower than the rest. It is not noteworthy in appearance. The hull itself is sort of a golden hue color, and the construction is very much low-key. But as you note upon the silks there being various coins and sigils and runes and just other form of magical or arcane fixtures being woven throughout, I'd like each of you to... This would probably be just a general intelligence check. General intelligence.
15.
Not corporal or sergeant intelligence, general intelligence.
My rolls are fire today. I got a 6.
15, 6?
15 as well.
15, all right.
10.
Got us then.
Esme is distracted.
10 and... Well, Esme, you know that this is Callum. Still can't remember the rest of the name, but this is Callum's place. The Calico... Yeah, you kind of know the name Callum, but the rest is just there. Really, you're still trying to focus on Valentino's affect and trying to translate the skin tone as we humans do, the skin tone across the body accurately and making sure that it's in line, again, as we normal humans do all the time. Fortune and Fallen Stellar being the more...
That sounds like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. I'm down for that combination.
I felt that sort of intonation sort of traipse across my lips. Anyway, Fortune and Fallen Stellar. Each of you know, at about the same level, who this is and what you're probably in for. Callum Reginald Dunstan Mercer is an interplanar merchant of some renown. A little bit on the diminutive side, but his curiosities are not bound by his stature. Indeed, the intricacies of arcana excite and give energy to him. So much so that many people aboard Fortuna have sought his services to either divine the location of specific magical objects or otherwise try to figure out exactly what something is for terms of identification, or indeed in the crafting and artifice of magic object. Indeed, you see scattered amidst the sigils various protective runes, which you know to be either, actually make an Arcana check, the both of you who noticed. So it's Fortune and Fallen Star.
12.
13.
You notice a few wards of alarm and the like, so if somebody were to be in the sort of menagerie of silks, somebody would be alerted. You guess, given the nature of these runes, these were probably written by Callum himself. Valentino has kept to his own devices very, very stringently, especially after the unique encounter that Rill offered. And so as he approaches the door, he merely raps upon its frame 3 times, at which point the door drifts open and a small wisp of smoke arises from it. Not in the sense that it's sort of haphazard, but almost like a tornado, like being dragged out and into the midst above.
Is that supposed to do that?
Interesting.
Call it a form of housekeeping, I suppose. He blinks a few times and looks to each of you. I've other duties to attend to. Callum is inside, if you would so desire to speak with him.
Thank you, Valentino. It's been a pleasure to see you again.
Pleasure as always, Lady Esme. And the rest of you, I'm sure we'll get to know each other in time.
Fallen Stellar flips him a gold coin and then just walks in.
He catches it with practiced grace, pockets it, and Fallen Stellar, as the first two walk in. I'd like you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh
Hilarious.
my goodness, you didn't check for traps.
We were invited.
Yeah. What a
That's fair. We were in.
Oldest trick in the book.
Weird flex, but okay, Callum.
Okay, it's in roll 20. Now the 23 total.
Roll 20
Fuck your
loves
traps.
you today.
The unfortunately, the tornado of smoke is still sort of in progress. So as you push through, it hits your nostrils in such a way that your eyes feel as though they are going to flood with blood almost, but then immediately kind of clear up. Although it is an unpleasant experience, as you sort of clear from the smoke, there's a pleasant high that comes from this smoke and incense that has been burned.
I have a question.
Yes?
You say it feels like your eyes are going to fill with blood, as if that is a sensation any of us could empathize with.
I
Trust
mean,
me,
feel like
I
that.
can.
I mean, yes. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, I rescind my comment.
I like playing.
Yeah, exactly, you know? But as that goes on, you open into the finely silken-lined room of this curio shop. Having never been called here before, Fallen Star, even in your long tenure in Fortuna, aboard Japia, you have not been able to meet with this individual. But seated amidst a column of bookshelves, attended to at a small table by what seems to be a friend of his, a sort of gruff, gray-looking, fearbolg chap with bushy sort of sea green hair and like bits of coral that kind of stick out from his skin. You see this individual, lithe and thin, with almost spider-like movement. He seems to navigate some sort of device. It's hard to tell from this distance and through the smoke what it is, but nevertheless, you are in the presence of Callum Reginald Dunstan Mercer and another who you do not know. The rest of you, in turn, do see through the smoke, and from around Fallen Star, Stellar, the same scene set before you.
Your fetch quest got your fetch questers.
Not looking up from the device as his fingers continue to navigate, Callum sort of intones, "Oh, good. Glad to see Valentino's still of use."
And texting.
Well, what are you waiting for, everyone? Especially you, Esme. Thought we were friends at this point.
Of course. Just, into Jovi just then. I see you in a Southern Belle. Of course, dear, we're friends. What is it you're looking for exactly? I'm chomping at the bit of patient.
Well, I'm looking for each of you to come in turn and close the door, but, you know.
Oh, dear. Absolutely rude of us. Esme will walk in.
Calico, Fortune.
I make a point to duck through the doorway because I imagine it's probably not made for someone of my height. If he's on
Actually-
the shorter side.
It's slightly taller than usual. You could do it, but it'd sort of be like with wafting past like your hairs, so it's like you still duck for courtesies. Fortune and Rill, I assume you make similar movements.
Yes.
Yeah, Rill will come in last, and they'll try and close the door, but their hand will get stuck on it, and there will be like 30 seconds of them like panically, like, okay.
with a sort of like sucker like for want of a better word series of pops, your hand detaches and suddenly the door slams shut. It's a little jarring, but not enough for Callum to look up from this intricate device. His friend, however, looks up and kind of blinks a couple of times before waving. Yeah, sorry. I just had to bring something by Callum's place. Hope you don't mind. Urno, by the way, man. He waves a sort of meaty hand to each of you. There's a bit of heft to this Fearbulg's person.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
Nice to meet
totally.
you.
Yeah.
And free for all.
I love it. I love it. I love fur bulks.
Yes, he nods and sort of picks at some of the coral and barnacles that kind of infest his skin. Each of you note the pardon. Well, actually, quick perception checks, all of you.
$14.
17.
17.
19.
What? Oh, Rill, you're muted. Oh no.
10.
So, even you see it. Amidst the menagerie of books and sort of curios that dot this place, you note a fine, what seems to be almost like didgeridoo-esque instrument with a large sort of bowl at the bottom. You, sniffing the air, each of you find that would have been the source of the smoke. As Callum continues to sort of manipulate this object, he seems a bit distracted, but open to questioning.
Jane's going to speak up and just so what do you need us for?
Little bit of acquisition. He punches the surface of this, and now seeing it, sort of silver sphere thing with floating faint purple runes. As he punches the surface of it, though, the runes flash blue and the sphere departs into 4 concentric pieces. It floats in his hand for a moment, and he smirks as a small red dot sort of blinks from inside. He clasps his hand, the sphere collapses and falls to the table, lifeless. All right. Interesting. He looks to Urno and smirks. Good job. I'll be sure to get that recipe too. He rolls the sphere over to him as Urno clasps it and puts it in his pocket. Yeah, man. Awesome. So, are you the crew that's like supposed to get the shard or whatever?
I
Calic-
assume.
I was just gonna say Calico Jane is very distracted by this shiny ball.
Of course.
So is
blinks
Esme.
Yurno blinks a couple of times. I'll go ahead and take that as a yes. I mean, you seem the type, not to like brag or anything, but I've known a lot of adventurers, and like they have that sort of look, you know. I mean, it's not that it's bad or anything, but it's like this sort of sense that you get about them, their personality, their affectations, and the like you. And he points to Rill. Like, I can tell just by looking at you that you are some sort of like ranger or explorer, like maybe not even human, or maybe human, or maybe something adjacent. You know, there are a lot of adjacent species. I've thought about that for a real long time. Thank you, Yurno, Callum sort of intones as Yurno snaps back to reality. Huh? Oh, sorry, man.
Rill is going to look at him and say, "How dare you? I am so human. I was raised by a human woman who fed me at her milk part, and I went to school."
I don't even know what check this is. I'll say deception and hope.
That seemed entirely sincere attempt.
Or, you know what? No, persuasion. Make it persuasion.
But I just rolled a really good deception check.
All right, fine. Deception. What was it?
I got 18.
18. Okay. Oh, Yurno kind of like, as you sort of say this, he totally buys that you are absolutely human and whatnot, which of course you are. Of course, you are human. Yurno said, "Oh,
if at any point just Irino is looking at me and not Callum, I'm going to turn my arm into a tentacle real quick and wave it around and then turn it back into a hand."
Yurno is currently the only one looking at you, and as he opens his mouth to say, "Oh yeah, man," as you turn it into a tentacle, he's like, "Oh, gotcha, warlock. You must have dipped into like a few other things. Like, okay, that's cool. I've known a lot of adventurers who's actually done that, man. Like, it's really cool." Callum, once again, just sort of hastening the conversation. "Thank you so much for the information that you've imparted. You know, I don't think we'll be needing anything else. Again, I'll get the recipe right out to you. I think this is your cue now. Other business?" And he sort of motions to the group.
Exit pursued by bear.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, yeah, man, sure. Do you mind if I use your teleportation? Callum sort of pinches the bridge of his nose. "Sure. You can do that. Thanks."
As
He
long
departs.
As it's not a ritual cast.
Fucking.
That's just for the rule readers.
That's
Yeah.
just for you. Shout out to the rule readers. All right. So between like some beads or something, Yurno departs into another room, and as Callum kind of straightens himself out, you see a flash of, again, that sort of sea green light, as you assume that teleportation has been used. Esme?
While that's happening, Esme would like to cast Detect Magic and just scope out the general vicinity.
Oh my god, so many magic stuffs. Like,
That makes me happy.
it's full to the brim. Even the books themselves, like the bindings, like it's really, really strange how magic this place is. Like, you've been on, you've been on a couple of excursions to arcanists and magi who had, shall we say, a sizable collection. But Callum's is always the genuine article. Like, there is not a single thing untouched by magic that he owned.
Oh, she just does this all the time to make herself feel good. It's like coming home.
You hear in your head this sort of faux offense. "Oh, what am I, chopped liver? Come on."
Well, you make a room full of yourself and we'll talk later.
You hear a sort of slight groan escape from, again, this source that only you know. Callum steps in front of the table and collects himself rather briefly.
Fortune had been like kind of looking around, and he actually turns at that point to look at him, looking around at all the things on the wall, like fingers twitching like a little bit, like I'm not going to touch anything because I'm not going to pocket anything, but I really want to.
Same. Hard same.
Yeah. As actually that sort of compulsion grips, Callum seems to recognize it. You can touch, but don't take.
I immediately go for a shelf. Just anything. I just want to grab something.
Yeah, there seems to be like a hefty book. Go ahead and roll me a 1.
What was that?
1d20. Just 1d20.
That's a 3.
Ah, indeed. As you reach up, you grab, just randomly, a jeweled raven's skull. Seems to almost have been carved from jade or some sort of weird
Matches
mineral. Yeah, and as you sort of turn it around, although the top of it is jade, the bottom seems to be some sort of turquoise or other sort of different material, but they seamlessly interact. It does catch your eye, and it catches the light rather brilliantly, and Callum sort of smiles. Yeah, that's a favor to some. Fortune, if you would like to do the same.
Yeah.
1d20.
2.
Okay. With that, you sort of just randomly reach across and you find what seems to be a dream catcher or some sort of ritualistic accoutrement. It has various feathers and claws, but as you sort of look at it, look through it, you close one eye for a brief moment and you see, just in that brief moment, another eye staring right at you. It's sort of hard to describe the nature of the eye, but it is definitely looking at you in that, again, moment where you closed one eye and sort of looked through the middle. And a not-so-favorite, Callum intones.
Can I like turn it like with the eye closed, like turning to look to see like if I can see more?
Nope, just one. It's sort of like a Mona Lisa effect where no matter where you put the dream catcher in relation to your eye, the eye still just stares straight at you.
Kind of shrugs and like puts it back, but like just kind of like tosses it back.
As you toss, immediately Callum's eyes light up a brilliant purple, and the dreamcatcher rights itself in the air and softly places it back on the shelf. I'm going to be employing you. I'd like a little bit of respect for my residents, at least.
Yeah. What's he doing?
Well,
Good job.
the job itself is simple enough, and Esme should probably be familiar with what I'm about to tell you. Have any of you heard of the shards of the aspects? Each of you, roll an arcana.
Non-natural 20.
I don't know why I rolled really good on that. I got a 19.
Because you said it, do I get anything like advantage or anything? She says, hoping.
Since yes, I'll give you advantage this one time. Calico Jane,
It
real?
was almost really good. It was an 8.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna take the original roll. I have a 9. Because the other was a 1.
9. And real?
I also got a non-natural 20.
Wow. Okay. Rill. Rill and Fallen Stellar, we'll get to you in a moment. Esme, Calico Jane, and Fortune, you rolled like a 15, right?
19.
19. Oh, excuse me. Esme, Calico Jane, it sounds important, and
I know a lot of things.
Yes, you do, and indeed, even your companion is a little surprised. Really? You forget now? He's right in front of you. Like, that's not a good look.
If she could
Here I
flip
was.
off a disembodied voice, she could.
Here I was thinking we were professionals.
You can.
And this is the putz that found me. And he's sort of in. Fallen Stellar, Fortune. There have indeed been legends about the shards of the aspects. Ancient elemental beings that were born from a bastard union of primordial forces and giant. They were attempts long ago to subdue the forces of nature by way of subjugation. Such was, of course, the giant thinking. They were unsuccessful, obviously, given that certain aspects actually brought to bear some of the worst storms in recorded history, along with earthquakes, fire blasts, and the like, that tore asunder nations. Indeed, if legend is to be believed, the pulsating body of a aspect long gone resides at the bottom of the roiling sea, cast there by some unknown group of adventurers in the Age of Heroes long ago. An aspect of fire that still, in its rage, boils and hurls terrible fumes and steam from the depths of this hellish ocean into the surface. A shard of an aspect is basically what's left after it's dead. There are aspects who have been recorded to have passed on. Though their shards are missing, there are some shards that have been found and used for, shall we say, interesting purposes. But on the whole, you know that a shard of an aspect is an eminently important artifact that certain arcane persons might be interested in acquiring. Callum intones as much to each of you. Esme, kind of a wash of realization, hits as he mentions the roiling sea legend. And again, your companion gives you shit for it. Yeah, big surprise. He kind of intones.
I'm allowed a slip-up or two.
But as the summary of this, shall we say, MacGuffin concludes, Callum looks to each of you. One shard is a significant find, especially if one. I know the location of 4. I can't get all of them by myself.
Why?
I'd like to think I'm skilled in certain circumstances, but I already know that competitors of mine are probably making their way toward.
Is it possible? Is it possible that you might be able to throw them off by you yourself traveling one way while we go towards another?
And now you reach my rationale. Cut to the heart. I will be pursuing one, honestly. You will be pursuing another, surreptitiously. In order to truly encourage randomization, I suppose, I'll give you the choice of whichever one you wish to pursue. I can debrief you on the inherent dangers that, shall we say, embedded within the work. But I'm sure that each of you is up to the... Hope you don't mind, Esme, I've been keeping an eye on you. And, of course, your companion.
Well, please enlighten us. What are our options?
4 shards, well, potential shards, he quickly says under his breath, are currently being monitored. One from an aspect of storm, another from an aspect of wind, water, and fire. I wish it were more creative than...
Real looks around at everyone. Water! Let's do the water one.
I'm a bit more inclined towards fire. So
I'm made totally of water. If we go into the fire one, I may turn into steam.
A silence.
That's
I mean,
bad.
I do believe that the mortal humanoid races are made of much water, Rill.
Mostly, yes.
Most of us. Some of us just have very thick skin.
Some of us have very squishy skin that's made entirely of water. Have you ever put an octopus on a hot pan? Let me tell you, there's not going to be anything left. It's just
there's
smoke.
left, and it's tasty.
I was about to say the same thing. Like, octopus is real good.
Should we have calamari for lunch?
That's horrible.
I'm sorry, dear.
Callum kind of blinks a few times.
Not Callum Mari. That's something else.
He sort of like chuckles at your I've not even told the relevant dangers, but I am so glad that you are able to voice opinions. So
Rill's just pouting now.
What do we have to be concerned about, Callum, dear?
a great deal, I would say. In terms of the mission itself, he sort of... For the aspect of... Shall we begin with storm, I suppose? There exists a shard which has embedded itself in a nearby island. It's going to be an unpleasant journey, most assuredly. But I can actually transport you onto the island directly. In addition to that, I have reason to believe that a good friend of mine, a sort of sarcasm drips from his lips as he says that, is currently in pursuit of the same object.
Rill is going to lean over to whoever's closest to them and go, "Are they really friends?"
Probably not.
Okay.
His name is Surtur. He's imaginative, a fire giant of most exquisite intelligence. He kind of, again, rolls his eyes. It's the aspect of storm. Then we have the aspect of air, which is stuck in a place that, unfortunately, you'd have to talk to Yurno to get to. He kind of pauses and stutters over the words. Luckily, no one's in pursuit of that one. Probably because the aspect is still alive, but swings and roundabouts, I suppose. The aspect of fire, well, remember that legend that I so eloquently retold?
Yes.
And remember the sphere by which Yurno delivered to me? Do you perhaps remember the red dot that was inside that sphere?
No.
That's where you'd have to go.
Like, under the surface of, like, the planet.
Not that far, but you would have to get under the sea. And then under the surface of the...
So let's talk about this water one.
Yes. A little bit of a misnomer. It's more of an aspect of Earth that's submerged in water. Similar to the one of fire, I know, but eminently different considering, again, that aspect is still alive. I'm unfamiliar with his characteristics, but do know his name, at least, through research of my own.
And what
Well.
are we to call him? Them.
Andy, can you go ahead and give me your second favorite letter?
Q.
Angela, your second favorite letter?
S.
S. Okay. Q, S. Rebecca?
J.
Your second favorite letter is J.
Absolutely.
Just making sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so sorry I questioned. Heavenly, your second.
M. For Manouche,
okay.
the monster.
And then J, your second favorite.
A.
A. Okay.
Quizjima.
Kizjima.
Kizjima.
Sounds primordial.
Not
It is prime.
not a big fan of vowels, the primordials.
Ugh.
Nah.
Callum, similarly, just sort of. How are we even able to pronounce it at the time? And those are the four. I'm partially to kicking Surtur's teeth in, but I leave it up to you. What would you do?
Well, I would feel absolutely beside myself with shame if I refused you the chance of reuniting with an old friend. More than happy to give you Storm if you'd like.
Why, thank you, Esme. I'll remember that kindness. As I'm sure you remember mine. And he looks to the sword.
Of course, dear.
Yeah,
Never forget it.
Yeah, kindness. It is. You
You
hear
guys
sort of a
aren't
sarcastic-
talking about real kindness, are you?
In this case, surprisingly, we are.
Oh.
Just not for all parties involved.
I'd prefer not to go after something birthed by primordial forces and giants, so how about a shard rather than a real aspect?
My preference has not changed.
Well, that seems to fit the option of fire. Nothing living, and makes fortune happy.
But
And
water.
they're still under the water. It fits
And they're under
everyone's
the
needs.
earth.
And you? Callum turns to Calico.
I have no friendship for anyone by the name of Surtur, but seeing as you're set on him, I will follow my party, my crew.
Into the depths of the roiling sea? Well,
Sounds like it.
in that case, I suppose I can render some assistance. I won't be able to get you down as far as you need to go, but I might be able to help.
Thank you.
Callum stands up straight, looks to each of you, and now that you actually see his eyes, it's sort of strange. There seem to be arcane, like, tattoos upon the surface of the eye that fill the white and accentuate the sort of natural colors, the natural sort of dull purple, almost more like a lilac, I suppose, of his eyes. He steps between all of you and out the front of the vessel, or out the front door of the shop onto the vessel proper. With a wave of his hand, a circle of runes appears in front, and with practiced grace, he shoves it into the golden U-esque wood of the ship. You hear a semi-mechanical cluttering and clamoring, which vigorously shakes the boat for a time. I'd like each of you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Whew, natural 20.
19.
24 total.
22.
12.
Got 11. I rolled a 3.
Again, luckily DC was 10 on this one, so although it shifts, shakes, and rattles, and indeed draws the attention of a few persons that are looking down from other ships, the floor of this boat rends open and falls like a solid inch before guttural gears kind of shift and shudder and shake. A little bit of a drop bay is revealed, and within it you see housed, well, I'd like everyone to roll an Arcana check. Yeah.
14.
3.
I also got a 3.
23.
That's a 5.
Within it you see, what seems to be a pool of some form or fashion, along with collars or cloaks of a certain kind. Anybody who rolled above a 15, you note that sort of lining the halls of this, you see cloaks of the manta ray actually sort of within this space. This should at least assist. Callum clears his throat and smiles.
Well, you treat us, dear.
Indeed, and I entrust you specifically with the location. A moment passes as he configures his fingers strangely, forming a slight arcane sigil that he presses forward, attempting it to latch on your forehead.
All right.
Do you accept?
Sure.
Willfully, the rune sort of sinks into your brain, and almost immediately you feel a pulsating heat that draws your attention downward.
Oh, that's disorienting.
Only a little. Luckily, there seems to have been a recent seismic shift within this area. The shard should be exposed. It'll become a problem in about 72 hours if it's not explicitly dealt with, or if Fortuna stays tethered to this particular place, which I highly doubt.
All right, then. We have a direction. We have potential dangers.
And you have a means of securing the shard. With a snap of his fingers, there appears a metal cylinder with brass handles on either side. A sort of thick glass protects what seems to be a mechanism with various runes of protection and whatnot inherent within. I'd advise this to go to the strongest among you.
Yes, please.
Who
Not
steps
it.
forward?
Probably not. No.
Did we all dump stat strength this time again?
I didn't dump it, but it's not good.
That's
Is it a positive modifier?
Yes.
Does it have?
I have
Is
a
one side
modifier.
open?
is one side open. That's it. For purposes of demonstration, yes, I will say that Callum did open one side of this cylinder.
I want to try and stick my fingers in it.
Fair.
Slide a hand.
I'm not trying to. It's not. I'm not hiding. I'm very
Oh, you're not.
obviously. No.
Walking forward with
Oh,
your hand extended.
you're literally like. As you do that, Callum tries to maneuver the opening away from you. Pardon, Rill. These are very sensitive mechanisms. If someone were to disturb them without proper knowledge of their alignment or their attunement, it might cause a bit of trouble.
I'll hold it.
Callum quickly looks to anybody else to maybe volunteer.
I'm gonna turn into my octopus form, and I'm gonna go, look. I'm just gonna wave my 8 tentacles. I'll hold it.
As all
Right here.
humans, as
Put it
all.
here. Put it right there. I'll hold it.
Callum.
Just gonna keep waving my tentacles. Put it right here.
They make a very salient point.
Callum, if you'd prefer, I will volunteer.
I slapped my tentacles on the ground really hard. Can't speak.
Make a persuasion check.
Like the
Do it.
squid aliens in Galaxy Quest.
I love this so much.
Actually, no, intimidation.
Let me get my sheet up. Intimidation?
Yes.
8.
Callum blinks a couple. Much as I appreciate the offer, Fallen Stellar, I would not deny a octopus its obsessions. He closes the canister and just lays it on the ground before you.
Human.
Human.
Yeah.
Of course.
I wrap my tentacles around it.
As all humans do.
So adorable. So adorable.
And then I turn back into a human and I'm just laying on my back holding the canister.
Dear, you do know you'll have to give that up at some point.
Yeah, but I get to hold it for now and you don't, so.
Fair. You win.
Right. I'm immediately regretting this decision.
Oh, don't be hasty, dear. We'll be fine.
No, that's the right choice.
Make a-
We just go down.
Make a persuasion check out.
Natural 20. I'm super fucking convinced. I'm even convinced we're gonna be fine.
Indeed, you are. As indeed you intone to this. Excuse me. As you intone to this concerned mage, Callum kind of blinks a few times, and seeing the sincerity by which you actually communicate this sentiment, he lightens up and kind of.
Have I not gotten you more complicated things, or just as complicated things before?
And taken even more complicated things? Says. Your,
Off your hands. Whoa, that was not him.
Yes, that wasn't him, and still you reply. It was your companion,
Mhm.
your husbando.
Yep.
Yes.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell sometimes, indeed. And so Callum,
Almost like they're voiced by the same person.
almost. Actually, yeah. Callum reaches for a flask inside his robes and quickly downs a drink before Mage handing it back where it was. Right. I'm gonna go kill Surtur. Get back with the shard of the aspect of fire. Let's say 1,000 gold each.
Sounds wonderful. And Esme will extend a delicate hand to shake Callum's.
As he extends his hand, a separate copy sort of splits from him with a flash of purple and extends hands to each of you.
Esme will also pull him in gently and kiss him on both cheeks as a sort of friendly, like, dear, I will always be in debt to you. You can always call on me for help.
Mm-hmm. Lucky I'm not the jealous type.
Of course not, dear.
Fine, but I expect a tip if I die.
More than that, the copy says to you as Fortune, you find Callum's copy in handouts.
Yeah, I suppose that's all right. I shake his hand real hard.
Good. Calico? Callum's copy extends a hand.
I shake it. Well,
Just a really,
staring at
in comparison to like all the other ones, it's sort of like, yes, good. Actually, it seems that Callum appreciates this sort of business sense. The copy rill that comes to you hesitates for a moment, but it outstretches it.
I'll take the hand and I'll shake it very vigorously.
Make a strength check.
I'm not trying. I'm just like giving it a good pump, you know. Really, really happy.
Clip that,
I'm not
please,
I'm not like.
someone?
I'm not. Okay, now that I've said that, I would like to
Yeah,
further expand on what I mean.
Yes, I think that would be greatly appreciated.
You know, like when people are really enthusiastic about handshakes and they just kind of
yeah.
like.
Yeah, right. They give a vigorous pump to the.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm not trying to squeeze his hand. Like I'm not making a like a show. I'm just super excited.
Oh God. Of course. As you sort of vigorously shake its hand, you see the body sort of dissipate into mist that retreats back to Callum Prime, who is currently shaking the hand of Esme, receiving cheek kisses and the like. He steps back from all of you and gives a small salute. All right. Good fortune and good luck, I suppose.
Who pays us if you die?
You're funny. He sort
And fiscally responsible.
How about we just take what's on your boat?
of... You can take the boat if I...
Yay!
That's not what I said.
He shrugs and subsequently goes back into the hut, shutting the door behind him with a...
Happy murdering!
Not to be rude, but I hope he dies.
Is the entire Fortuna moving right now? This is an important question.
Currently, I'll say, because it is noontide and the roiling sea is being a little disagreeable, you are not currently moving.
All right. After he's gone back into his little thing, I'm gonna kneel down and reach sort of into a little pouch and take out my feather token, the anchor token, and drop it on the ship and stand up, put it back in my pocket and stand up. It's like, it's not going anywhere. So if this becomes ours, it's right here.
Very nice. Very nice.
Shockingly
Very good.
impressive, dear.
Perfect use of that. I've been holding on to it for so long. Let's go.
All right.
Did he check and make sure that like everyone put back what they grabbed earlier?
Actually, make a perception check.
That is a 22.
You sort of smile. You sort of smile to yourself. You know you've got that skull still in your possession, and as you reach into the pocket that you stuffed it in, you feel nothing but linen.
I nod in respect to the person who is not there.
All right. So, each of you has at your disposal a Cloak of the Manta Ray, which I believe gives water breathing, but if it doesn't, we'll say
It
that's
does.
Callum added. Okay, thank God.
I
was about to
don't
You can breathe underwater and you get a 60-foot swim speed.
I also have solutions for such things.
Your hood has to be up as well for that to happen.
Actually, for that matter, Fallen Stellar will just I don't remember how you cast water breathing. Let's press the button. He will cast water breathing on the party as well, just in case for some reason they get separated.
I breathe water all the time.
Well, now you do 3 times.
Super efficient at it. It's like high oxygen.
Yeah, it's high altitude.
So to the point where you're probably going to be high from how much oxygen is in your
From how much water I'm getting in
Wait,
my lungs.
Rill is going to act more disoriented and bizarre.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yeah, that's the good news. That's the great news.
Like, have you guys? Sorry,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you guys know the Doctor Who theory on like why he's so loopy? It's because there's like twice
'cause
as much oxygen on Earth.
In his blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense now that you can breathe water 3 times over. You're so good at breathing
Rill's
water.
just going.
Real opens their mouth and just like water pours out. I'm like turning oxygen into water at this point.
It's gone full invert, literally water breathing. All right, so
Wait. No,
it's shh. It's a one shot. Just roll with it. So each of you has a Cloak of the Manta Ray as your third magic item. As you ready your equipment, what does the quote-unquote audience see as each of you has these sort of magic items inherent to your character equipped? Fortune, we'll start with you.
He just used one of them to stop the boat
yes.
to not be moved. The other one,
The anchor token.
Yes, he has this staff. I think it's adamantine. It's solid black, and it has what was probably at one point a spider, but the legs have been slowly worked off to make it look less creepy. And he's got that. He's no armor or anything, just the staff and the cloak now.
All right, interesting.
That
And
he might have been sorry, and pulled the cloak down really hard to accommodate the horns.
Of course. Oh, it actually pierced the cloak. Is that what you... Oh, no.
So the hood stays on.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't... just like the token, it's an anchoring technique as you ram your horns through this Cloak of the Manta Ray. Rill, what does Rill have prepared for the adventure? In addition to the Cloak of the Manta Ray, which allows 3 times water breathing.
3 times water breathing. Well, I have my sweet 8 arms, which can grab things. And I have some jewelry that may come in handy.
Oh, really? Interesting. It has sort of adorned your person and perhaps might find use in the coming adventure. Calico Jane, what are the 2 sort of items that you have chosen?
The staff that is always strapped to my back glows a little bit brighter, and the horn, it has runes around the thicker side of it that show up, and they're just in primordial. It says, "Call the Fallen."
Ah, interesting, and certainly not ominous at all. You blood clerics and your summoning of the dead. Now we go to Esme. In addition to your, shall we say, companion who is within your sword, who else, or what else do you have?
So she has, as I had described before, she has a small hand mirror strapped to her belt. It's this little platinum hand mirror, and she whispers something that sounds oddly fey and her outfit that was like very, like I said, conservative, businessy, simple elegance, in this sort of like smoke illusory changes its appearance, and she's in sort of this like extra as fuck like black warlock armor that has this sort of arcane organic look similar to what the sword looks like. She's basically color coordinated herself with the blade, and so that's her. Her armor, her studded leather seems to be able to glamour itself into whatever appearance she deems appropriate for the opportunity. She's going for something dark to blend in a bit more in the depths of the water.
Absolutely, absolutely. Fallen Stellar.
So Fallen Stellar whips out his sort of driftwood sort of wand that he was carrying in a leather holster, and uses that to cast the water breathing on everyone, as well as looks down at himself and says, "This won't do," and just sort of pulls on his sort of his sort of puffy white shirt, and it just comes off and disappears, and he's left in basically like tight-fitting red bathing trunks, no top, no boots, and he looks at it. That's better.
Much better, much better. It's a more natural sort of arrangement.
And then he puts the cloak on.
Then the cloak, of course.
At some point while they're preparing, Esme casts Detect Magic again on a whim and just stares at Fallen Stellar, just double checking. Is that the
He has
same
the exact same suit of armor that you have.
Okay, so she's just like, huh, and she just sort of nods approvingly.
And honestly, with that vision up, you don't have to look at his sort of like old man chest, so that's nice.
There you go. Yeah. There's an aura that blocks the man boobs. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing.
Fallen Star's body is beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. It is wonderful, and we at any rate, I will assume, for mercy's sake, that each of you in turn does equip the Cloak of the Manta Ray and then descends, or begins your descent.
I wrap the Cloak of the Manta Ray around my waist.
Gotta get a little extra drama to it.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to go about it.
And then I turn
All
into
right.
an octopus.
Okay.
Was there also I thought you described cape and collars? Were there collars as well? Or did I mishear that?
Well, I had originally thought that for some reason Cloak of the Manta Ray didn't have water breathing, but
Gotcha.
we'll say that it was an optional sort of feature.
Those are surplus in case the Manta Ray cloaks are all gone. You can take the collar.
Yeah,
In case
exactly.
you want to accessorize with the collar.
Exactly.
The cloak in the image actually does sort of wrap around your neck.
Okay,
Sure.
so we'll
it's
go
like
with
a
that.
sash.
We'll go with that. Totally meant that.
There you go. Collar and cloak.
Right.
It's all one thing.
So, as each of you descends, I need all of you to make athletics.
Can I make an acrobatics check? Because I have 8 arms.
Rill can make an acrobatics check
Hell yeah.
because they have 3 times water breathing.
Son of a bitch. 5.
9.
It's a
21.
total of it's a total of 20.
That'd be a 13.
And Rill,
21.
Damn.
swimming circles around you all, Rill is able to weave through the water as elegantly as ever. Esme, Fallen Stellar, the strain of the roiling sea against you is exhausting. It's very much a toil to get through. Calico and Fortune, you are able to avoid this the fate of your friend. As Fallen Stellar and Esme, you take 1 point of exhaustion.
Fuck. Okay.
Right away, too. Oof.
Starting off
Yep.
strong.
Starting off real strong. But Rill, you being the sort of one to navigate and be able to go through all of this with nary a worry, is there... actually, I've just realized what the collars were for. You see the collars begin to sort of pulsate that same familiar purple signature light, and it takes a moment for you each to realize as you're going along, you're actually hearing the internal conversations of each of you. You are now psychically linked. Because
But
I realized...
just
dear.
me. I'm just the node, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're now psychically linked, and Rill, is there... And since you rolled so well, go ahead and roll a perception check. Because you have dark vision. We'll assume you have dark...
I have like water vision or whatever. I don't know.
It's
24.
There is no bottom in sight. This is pure blackness that you are swimming into. And as you sort of look up, the light of the sea, or the light that pierces the sea, it goes lesser and lesser and dims and fades as you continue going down. Esme, you recognize as you continue to swim, even through your exhaustion, the sort of heat pull you in a certain direction. I need you to make an investigation check.
You mean a check with disadvantage?
Unfortunately.
Oh, good. 2 13s. I'll do it. What was the roll? I'm sorry. My snark overshadowed your request.
Investigation.
Okay. It's a 15 total.
15 total? Okay. Looking down and sort of orienting your body within this sort of three-dimensional space, you are able to note that it is further down, but it's also at an angle which would allow you to perhaps avoid any further fighting against the roiling nature of the sea. Sort of like a slight decline instead of just a straight down.
All right. I will follow that sensation, I guess.
Sure.
And telepathically alert everyone. Dears, I have a bit of a ping. Follow me if you can, or at least follow the direction I'm floundering.
I'm going to go ahead and cast light, by the way, on like my mace, I guess.
Thank you. I could not see.
A brilliant
You're
light.
human.
A brilliant light pierces out as Calico, your mace brilliantly lights the way. It's a bit of a shock to the various little sardines and other smaller fish that actually permeated the space between you that you couldn't really see until they were lit up.
As this light comes on, those who couldn't see will just see Rill like shoving fish in their mouth. Slash food.
I had dark vision, so I've been just watching. I was swimming fine. I was like, I had dark vision, just like real tough.
I've been attempting to ignore.
And then I'll
I've
just
been
say in
joining in.
everyone's mind, yeah, just feel free to eat like anything that you want. It's fine.
Totally fine. Perfectly fine.
I recommend the little shrimpies. They're super good. They're fast. You gotta be quick.
Real
But you
make
can get them.
make a Constitution save.
What?
These
What
are
are these
cursed
fishies?
fish. They're cursed.
They're the cursed fish. I got.
Those are what? Not. Okay then. A slight fishbone gets sort of stuck in your throat, but you are able to soldier through.
Do we hear that psychically? Just imagining it.
I'll say
Rill's like, how does a human choke on food? I need to think of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, the
And
way
that's the
octopus choke on food is that it goes through their esophagus and like pierces their brain because their brain is wrapped around their esophagus.
It's a poor design.
Die instantly.
Very, very poor design, but you're able to soldier through it and consume. Oh boy. As you continue down, the width and breadth of the Roiling Sea sort of reveals itself onto you as soon as it also gets lost, as the sea becomes darker and murkier and filled with sort of the after effects of this perpetual sort of boiling. I need all of you again to roll athletics checks with advantage. So, since you did find the proper route.
12.
Athletics or acrobatic?
The sea has become a little bit rougher, so unfortunately, athletics.
16.
13.
Okay. Sorry, hold on. Let me. You said with advantage, right?
Yes, with advantage.
19.
Okay. Anybody roll beneath a 12? Beneath.
10. Well, when you get exhaustion right at the beginning, it tends to bite you in the ass.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Andy.
I didn't roll at advantage. I got a 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say... Okay, since I don't want to punish too severely, especially since one of you is the grade,
It's fine.
I'll say this instead. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Fucking 10 again.
That's a 9.
Better than 1.
It's okay. We can die. It's fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
He's old. He's lived a long life.
I can only bring one of you back, so please.
Esme's just thinking to herself at her companion, find someone else. I really need you to just,
Yeah, no. Believe me, I'm thinking about it, he says, obviously sarcastically, as you feel a very warm, unexpectedly warm blast, and you feel like air and water sort of mix across your face as, for want of a better term, the earth farts, and like this bubble sort of slams into each of your face with like an unexpected force. Yes. Yeah, and subsequently you take 15 points of fire damage. Esme, the heat that you feel inside your head is suddenly on your face.
Great.
You're headed in the right direction, and it hurts. The rest of you are able to sort of soldier through and
God,
Oy
that
vey.
was.
This is going well.
Yeah, if we had done the water one, there wouldn't be any fire bubbles. But
I don't know. I'm okay with it. It's all right to me. Nice and warm.
Dear. Why don't you go first, then? I'll just hold on.
I will.
Each of you make a perception. Esme with advantage, because
8.
Because it's like a patch in my face.
21.
11.
23.
18.
all right. Anybody who rolled above a 15, which Fallen Stellar, unfortunately, as again the sort of exhaustion of the sea.
I'm human.
It's
I
not
can't
your-
see anything. It's fine.
Well, you see a little bit thanks to Calico Jane, but even now the murkiness of the water is sort of even inhibiting the nature of this light mace. Nevertheless, however, and again, anybody who rolled above a 15, you peer very subtly across the the black murkiness that you now survey and see forms, shapes, and the like, rock formations that have revealed themselves. You're at the beginnings of the seafloor. You've got about one more good solid push. Esme, especially, you recognize that. Before you're even within spitting distance of the shard.
She'll convey that. Just a little bit longer, dears. Soldier on.
All right. Real specifically, I'd like you to roll a perception check. Nope. Haven't learned. Nope.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Now
Oh.
we can.
Was this
Yes.
a different perception check than the one we just rolled?
Yes,
Okay, 14.
14. In the sort of rocky formations of this sphere, you see dart between it a semi-familiar only as it shares a species. And indeed, as it looks back, it blinks a few times and then darts in the direction of the direction that you need to tarry. Nope. All good? All right. So.
While all, oops, sorry.
Go on ahead.
While all this is going on, Jane is just gonna like pop Esme and Fallen Stellar in like the back of her head of their heads with her staff, and is gonna cast Cure Wounds with her staff on both of them.
Oh.
Very nice. Very nice.
You
That-
are.
Beg pardon?
You are a godsend, dear.
I try. That is 12 points of healing to both of you.
Whew.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. It was just, I literally just heard like,
Connection.
and then I saw everyone looking at me expectantly, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry.
All right. One more athletics check.
$13.
8.
I am doomed to only roll 10s.
16.
12.
Anybody who rolled below a 15 takes another point of exhaustion.
Oh my god.
Or their...
How big is everyone?
I think you're all medium sized.
Oh, never mind. You all are on your own. Sorry. Only one of you had chosen to be a tiny creature.
Oh, we
If I-
go slower.
Fallen Stellar is now at half movement, so
Same here.
we're at 30 swim rather than 60, unfortunately.
A more deliberate pace is taken, and yet you are able to progress to this final. There is a giant fissure within the earth. And though it is faint, you are able to see a suffused glow that surrounds this space. It seems to be of an orange hue. Lava, perhaps. But as you sort of look around at this sort of innocuous life that tarries here, eyeless fish and long-legged crabs that traverse this, I'd like you each to roll a perception.
Is this relating to the shard?
Could.
So just regular for me. Okay.
Yes, regular.
21.
$19.
13.
Esme, I'll say you're distracted from your mission by your gentleman caller who sort of intrudes. Hey, not to be a bother while you're working or anything, but I've got a bad feeling about for more reasons than what you've already shown. As you sort of flounder in the water for...
You mean just slowly dying under thousands of pounds of weight under the ocean?
That's certainly a concern. But I was talking more about, well, spoilers, I guess. He kind of quiets himself.
So helpful as always, love.
Glad to be of use. Anybody who rolled above a 17, you see amidst the glow another form that darts in the and swims effortlessly, and indeed softly glows a light with the same orange light before diving.
Well, shall we?
What direction did it go?
Toward the orange light that's on that's embedded within the rock.
I suppose we should get closer.
To the fissure or to the figure?
The figure is going towards the fissure.
Okay.
That almost rhymed. Yeah.
Fallen Stellar
It was
will
alliteration.
slowly begin swimming that way.
All right. Again, with this more deliberate pace, no athletics checks required. You come upon the mouth of hell, almost. It roils and cracks and reforms as lava billows from the earth, sending sort of sulfurous gases into the upper atmospheres. As time sort of traipses forward, you note the sort of active nature of this seems to be directional. A portion of it seems to swell and then fall like waves. I'd like you each to make an Arcana check. Esme with advantage.
6.
19.
2.
One guess. What a guy.
10? With advantage?
Well, with advantage is one roll for me.
Oh, yeah.
So nothing but extremes today. For me, it's fine.
Esme, you don't really have a frame of reference. You knew about the shards academically, not real. And only real surprise. Given your attunement to the ocean, you know when something is wrong, and you at least know what might be. The figure itself that flashes with an orange light that looks similar to you. Indeed, you find it to be one of your kin. Even in this dim light, you recognize one of your... And he seems... Well, his mood is hard to define from this... Perhaps maybe speaking to him?
I don't think I have a language while in octopus form. I'll tell everyone, Real will say to everyone telepathically, hey guys, it's Real. Do you see the thing up ahead that looks like me?
Yes.
You mean you?
Well, first of all, that's a little racist, and I will be bringing it up with our captain. Secondly, no, a different one that looks like me but isn't me. I'm gonna go talk to it. Okay, bye, and I'm just gonna shoot off really
You
fast.
have the cylinder.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they do. Real. Effortlessly, you speed towards this figure, and immediately, as you sort of enter into a certain distance, you hear a very forceful voice enter into your head. Stop!
I stop!
I assume that you psychically project that.
Yes.
Yes,
And
all of you.
Also, Real comes to a stop.
All of you hear, I stop, as Real comes.
Hello, who goes there? This is Real.
The figure sort of tilts its body. Another? I am Lear.
Hey.
Ah,
What do you mean another? Like another what? Like another octopus or like another...
another you.
Well, there's only one me.
And there's only...
Right, so together there's two. Right now.
And so we are two.
And so we are too. High five.
It doesn't understand this and instead sort of just billows forward. You notice that the skin of this octopus, in comparison to your own, is not normal. It's more rocky and molten in texture. Indeed, embedded within one of its many tentacles, you see a glowing shard, almost crackling with energy, a gem of raw cut and obvious power.
Hey, that's a pretty cool thing that you got there. Where did you get it, and what is it, and what are you doing with it?
Where did I get it? Here, in the fissure. He sort of swims down and fans out his 8 arms, swirling around. What were the other questions?
What are you doing with it?
Holding it.
And what is it?
I don't know. But I like it. It sort of drifts towards it, its eyes sort of dancing across the gems.
I know what it is, and it's not anything super cool. So if you want to trade me...
Make a deception.
That would be a 17! Ho.
It looks back to you and blinks. What? But it does this! And as he swims around, you see the lava swell and boil and form once more, shooting into sort of spires that then burst into...
How much can the rest of us see this?
Plane is...
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna say in my mind, I'll be like, hey, Fallen Stellar,
Yeah.
can you do something cool when I lift my arms up to make it look like I'm doing something that's equally as badass as what this octopus just did? What kind of powers do you got?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna look back at the octopus and be like, that's nothing. I mean, that's just, everyone can do that. It's not because of the rock. I'm gonna lift 3 of my tentacles in the air and wave them and hope that Stellar does something really cool.
Fallen Stellar? Come on.
I'm gonna do it. So Fallen Stellar in the water, you see the wand come out, and he twists it into sort of drawing the shape of a cube, and around you in a 30-foot cube, this twisting light appears and starts flashing, and it's like being on the inside of a rave if everything was in 5 feet of you. I mean, it is the brightest, loudest thing you've ever seen.
What spell is this?
Hypnotic pattern.
What's the DC on that?
Beautiful.
19. It's a concentration. Sorry, it's a wisdom saving throw.
Mesmerized by this pattern, the magma octopus Lear drifts forward, sort of unaware of its movements, and blinks a few times.
While it's,
Yep.
I was gonna say, while it's like clearly distracted, I'm going to use Channel Divinity Blood Puppet, and have him like start to pull the shard out of his own tentacle. It's a saving throw.
If anyone's going anywhere near it, it's going to have to take a wisdom save. It's still happening, and it's in a 30-foot cube around it.
Yeah, Rill, go ahead and roll a
Yeah,
wisdom saving throw.
I'll have to do that.
Calico Jane, I'm assuming the range on that is like 60 or...
Yeah, 60 feet.
Okay, so you'll be far.
I got a 10.
Rill, unexpectedly, you too are unfortunately mesmerized by this.
It's really pretty.
It really is. Calico?
DC... what is it? I'm trying to find it. Constitution saving throw. DC 16.
No. Just no. So, as it's sort of suffering from this hypnotic effect, you see the suckers pull away from the gem, like one by one, each with a sort of like... And then the shard is loosened, and it begins to fall from its grasp.
Telepathically, I'm like, someone swim after it. Go, 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 go.
I'll dash after it because I still have my... I'm fast. I'm a monk. I'm fast.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make an athletics check. Just to see.
Oh, I couldn't have been athletics. Oh, I'm still at disadvantage. $13.
That was the DC. Just enough, you're able to swim down around the 30-foot cube and latch your hand around this shard. At that particular moment, I'd like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Saving throws are not at disadvantage with 1 level of exhaustion, right? It's just the ability checks. Okay. Good. 19.
Only 8 points of fire damage then, as your hands are seared by this crystal.
Is that counting the resistance?
Half damage for your...
Being a tiefling.
Oh, and then half again for your successful save. So 4 points. How fortunate then. However, you're going to have to roll every 6 seconds the longer you hold this thing. It burns in your hands and continues to burn. Rill. I'd like you to go ahead and roll another wisdom saving.
Okay. I got a critical failure.
Within the thrall of this this hypnotic pattern, you actually drop the canister that you had once held.
Shit.
Does Fallen Stellar notice that?
You-
He's going to swim forward, staying out of the pattern, and use Mage Hand to try to grab it, hoping that it's not more than 10 pounds in water.
It is. Go ahead and roll an Arcana.
Could I also try to cast Mage Hand and then it adds to 20 pounds? Just carefully. Okay.
12.
Arcana.
Arcana check, you said?
Yeah.
8.
Fallen Stellar, you're lucky. It is just to latch onto it. It's not a steady hold, but you do have it in your grasp. Yes, indeed. As you con saving throw.
$15.
Unfortunately, you take the whole 26 points of damage, have to 13.
Fallen Stellar will swim over to Fortune and just sort of hold the canister out.
And so you do. Fortune?
I'll shove the shard just into it.
Make a final... Actually, make a wisdom save.
I'm not going to look at my modifier. It's a 2 on the die. I think I have a plus. I don't know. If it's I don't know. Not good.
It's not. As you try to shove it in, and as you try to let go of it, your fingers seem to latch upon it. And you actually sort of pulse it in and out. It seems that you don't want to let go of this power.
Put it in the thing.
But it.
With Fallen Stellar's encouragement, one more wisdom saving throw.
From me?
No, from Fortune.
17 for that one.
The claws, the artificial claws, latch onto it and pull it into the canister. The canister alights with that purple light brilliantly, and the top of it actually magnetizes and latches on top, pressurizing almost. The shard is secure, and it seems that your octopus friends are a little indisposed at the minute.
It lasts for 1 minute, by the way.
And so, at the end of that minute, it dissipates. Rill, you snap back to your senses, and you see Lear kind of blink a few times. Okay, yeah, that was actually really cool. How did you do that?
Well, I'll never tell. So...
What? No. You did. I gave up the... Wait, did I give up? He looks through his tentacle. I apparently gave up the shard.
We did not complete a trade.
What? That's not fair.
What are you talking about? We didn't trade.
But make a perception.
That's a 9.
Well, but if an octopus could frown, it's frown. Fine. Get out.
Okay.
You're no fun.
Okay.
With a sort of squirt of ink, Lear departs back into this sort of lava hovel. the gentle hum of the shard continues to emanate. You somehow diffused this combat encounter rather brilliantly, I must say.
See, and you were all worried. Esme thinks to her scabbard.
I'm confident in their ability, at least. How are those arms feeling?
Tired. Mind loosening the weight on me a bit. She contemplates poofing the sword to its extra-dimensional space.
I have a question.
Yes.
So obviously we can't hear his side of the conversation.
Oh, you hear me?
So we all hear, because you're speaking telepathically.
I have to speak out loud to
Oh.
have this conversation, so I'm thinking it, I guess, to have
Yeah.
the conversation.
Yeah. At which point, all of you are very
I'm constantly having conversations with myself.
constantly. And yet, for sake of brevity, you find yourselves ascending much.
We like ride up on one of the earth farts.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it actually, everyone make an acrobat.
$27.
25.
That's a natural 20.
Damn.
So Fallen Cell is going to try to use a levitate spell, which he can cast at will to try to help him, because otherwise he rolled a 5.
Okay.
I actually forgot. I have disadvantage. So it's actually a 19, not a 27.
Wow, really?
I have a plus 12, so
I rolled a 6.
I'll say Felon Star, you can roll one more and take the high.
Oh no, I was just going for a straight roll because that was a nat 20, but the disadvantage was a 5.
Oh,
Not a single one of my disadvantage rolls had less than 10 points between the two roll options.
I also had a point of exhaustion, so no natural 20. It was
Yeah.
an 11.
all right. Esme and Fallen Star, Calico. Your ejection from the sea onto Callum's vessel is unceremonious, to say, but you land upon the deck with a nice and hearty thud. Calico, you're familiar as you land on your other shoulder. Takes 5 points of bludgeoning. Whereas Rill and Fortune, you are perfectly unscathed as you ascend, and with treasure in tow, find yourself once again aboard Callum. He has not returned, and will probably not return for.
Soaked, face up on the deck, Esme just says out loud, "Next vacation we take will be very far away from the ocean."
This was not the ocean's fault. This was the fire fault. Most of the ocean is not like this at all.
Fair, no volcanoes and no ocean.
that's fine. I suppose.
That's fair. Yeah.
I imagine all of you just sort of laid on the deck, like sprawled out, like having this conversation.
Oh, I have the slow fall. I just like landed normally. I'm just standing looking at them.
Yeah, well, everybody else
We're all
is.
just like, ugh.
Yeah,
I laid on the deck with them so they wouldn't think they were weird.
of course.
Esme murmurs a word in Elvish or Sylvan, and the armor, the extra as fuck cosplay armor, turns into like a fuzzy bathrobe. She's like ready
Marvel.
for the spa.
So, Cullum's not here, and he might be dead, right?
Callum is not dead.
Right?
You give
If
him
he's dead,
four-
we get the ship.
You give missing persons at least 48 hours before you actually announce them as being gone. I would give him at least
maybe-
24.
Well,
I can only hold the ship for 24. So if he comes back before then we can just give it back. I can just give it back. But if he doesn't,
point of order. We could always just cancel your little feather trick, and maybe he forgot to drop anchor.
No. We are people. We are men, women, and reals of our word. We will wait until such time as we know that Callum is in fact deceased. Give a man a chance to kill an archenemy, won't you?
Why not?
Sure, we'll give him a chance to kill Callum.
The day passes. Callum will be along soon. But each of you, in your own ways, appreciates a little bit of a relief. The soft hum of the shard continues. It is low, menacing, powerful, and perhaps valuable.
Well,
But that's for Callum to determine.
while we're on the ship, because I have no intention of not staying around and waiting for Callum, can I just, like, look through his shit? Just all of it? I just want to snoop.
I'll say that is the final shot. Calico, a glint in your eye appears as you realize Callum's gone. His shop's open. You've done something good for him. Time for a reward.
Oh, yes.
Last we see, Calico bolts into the abode, slamming the door open. With a wild abandon, you hear the crashing and clamoring of various magical, very valuable items.
Just for fun, because I didn't get to use it, I'm going to blow the horn of Valhalla, and I have eight Einheirar helpers helping me go through all of it.
Oh my god.
It's
That's
cacophony,
an efficient ransacking happening right now.
indeed. And it is the final thing we see as we depart from Fortuna and into the storm-ridden sky. We shall never see your like again, but we were glad to have you. Thank you everyone so much for watching. So glad to be part of this. Jason Cutrone, at Just Jason, please, the DM of this little extraordinary group, go around the usual order: Jay, Heavenly, Rebecca, Angela, and Andy. Just give your plugs and also remind people of the lovely sub-drive and the giveaway that we've got going on.
yeah, I'm Jay. I'm on Twitter on the URL on the screen. I am on Countless Heroes, which will be back next week on Wednesday and not Tuesday. Yeah, we'll see you around then.
I'm next. I forgot I was next. I'm Heavenly. You can find me on Twitter at @tis_aliens. And as far as what I do on the Nerdsmith Network, I just kind of haunt the peripherals and make everyone question what it is that I do. So I won't even tell you what I do. It'll add to the mystique.
You can find out on nerdsmith.org/creators. You can look her up and then see the shows she's involved with.
As you know my true name, you can find me.
Amazing. I'm Rebecca. I'm not actually really a part of Nerdsmith itself. I'm just someone who is happy to help out with the sub
Part of
drive.
the community.
Yeah, I'm part of the community. And you can find me on Twitter at Weirder by the Day. I have like my own mythos up on a website called mythillogical.weebly.com because I'm creative. And so if you want to go check that out, that'd be fun. And yeah, go do the subs stuff.
Angela.
Sorry, I was putting a link to Rebecca's Weebly page.
Oh, yes.
Do it, Angela.
I'm Angela. You can find me at darling_gypsum, and also you can go to nerdsmith.org/creators and find out all the stuff that I'm on. And yeah, I'll be back in a bit to say other things that we have to do as we wrap up the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. Andy?
I'm Andy. We are Nerdsmith. Check out Die Hard Dice. They're amazing. I at this point am only using Die Hard Dice because this metal dice is so much fun to throw. I can't tell you. Check out World Anvil. They're an amazing campaign creation software that allows you to really fine-tune, create content to manage your campaigns, manage your writing. Angela's using it for some like fictional writing that she's doing. We're using it for Countless. It's really, really, really cool. So that's my plug. Check out those two wonderful companies.
Heck yeah, heck. For my own portion of it, again, Jason Cutrone at Just Jason Please on Twitter. Check the pin tweet to see where I'm at. I'm on Mondays, hopefully returning on Encounter Roleplay. Tuesdays, you can find me on Susanna Grace's channel or on here at 2 p.m. CST with two of the players here, Angela and Heavenly, doing a little bit of more intensive sailing aboard the Final Rites. Lovely little campaign that we've got going on that we're just starting. It's a bi-weekly thing. It won't be on this next Tuesday, but as I said, you can catch me on that same time slot over on Susanna Grace's channel, doing Grains of Truth, a Witcher campaign. But yeah, other than that, as Andy so lovingly and full-heartedly said, thank you so much to World Anvil and Die Hard Dice.
FULL heartedly or FOOL heartedly?
It was, I mean, it's a little bit of both. I mean,
why can't it be both, you know? But a hearty thanks to World Anvil and to Die Hard Dice for their sponsorship and for their patronage. In reference to patronage, again, this was done, Rebecca was brought on as one of our lovely guest players during our Nerdsmith sub-drive, a lovely little annual effort that we've been so blessed to have going through the week. It's going to be ending April 30th. So if you would like to find out how to support small creators directly and to also get your hands on some lovely, lovely little trinkets and swag, go ahead and follow the link at nerdsmith.org/subdrive to find out more about how you can not only help your favorite creators, but also secure for yourself some really cool stuff. As Andy is currently showing, you can get yourself at one of our tiers. Yeah, you can get at one of our tiers. You'll have to go follow the link in order to find out. But outside of that, I suppose we'll just have to go ahead and roll the giveaway for that same, not the dice this time, for a guild account with World Anvil, if memory serves. If you are in chat currently and you typed the keyword booty again, I believe.
Booty again.
Then you were entered in for the giveaway, and subsequently we shall see who is the recipient.
Do we know which level membership it is and how long it is?
I believe, Angela, you have that information.
Roger Twy, you are the winner of our giveaway. You have won a 6-month master tier membership to World Anvil.
That's awesome.
It's super cool.
Wonderful.
We will reach out to you as we're wrapping up with the code and the instructions for how to redeem that code for your 6-month guild membership. Please have an absolute blast with that community. World Anvil's a really welcoming community of some really smart and creative people. We highly recommend you avail yourself of their Discord and all the websites and all the different accounts that are being used on World Anvil. There's over 250,000 active users on World Anvil at this point, so you will find a lot of really cool things to check out.
Yes, absolutely.
Sad that you
here to say congratulations to Roger.
Oh yes.
For anyone that is sad that you didn't win, you can pick up your own master level membership for 6 months for $25 over at World Anvil on their website.
Absolutely.
And many features on World Anvil are completely free to use right out of the box. So check out worldanvil.com and just make an account. Go play around. It's really, really fun.
Yes, really, really fun. It's a marvelous service. And as you said, so many active users, so many heroes. Speaking of heroes, you can follow the misadventures of the average Engers on Shitty Superheroes today at 2 p.m. PST with Game Master Will Crossweight. Yes, a lovely, lovely little lineup that's going to be happening real soon. So mark your calendars, keep your eye on the clock, and watch this space because it'll be on the Nerdsmith Twitch channel, which you're hopefully following and sort of being attuned to.
And if you're trolling around for World Anvil memberships, there'll be another giveaway during that one shot. So go check out Will running superhero D&D. Sorry, shitty superhero D&D.
Shitty superhero D&D.
Yeah,
and if you haven't seen Will run a game, Will is amazing. It will be just as good as this stream was.
Absolutely,
Especially if you like puns.
Yes,
Who doesn't?
Excuse me, most marvelously, if you stick around right now, we're going to actually be raiding World Anvil's Twitch stream and saying a little bit of a hello to them. But as we depart, we thank you all for coming aboard and invite you with a little... Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I'm not allowed to move while I'm holding her.
And we invite you to come aboard another adventure with a little bit of a trailer that's been put together. I won't say much more, but I thank you so much for your audience. Hope to see you all again round here, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.